Episode 306.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with Leah. Little Black's over here acting up, being his spoiled self. I'm good at raising spoiled boys. Roy's spoiled, RJ's spoiled, and the baby's spoiled. Anyway, so how was everybody's week? So I made a quick run, how do you say it, like a roundabout, like a drive-by shooting trip to Texas. RJ and I left after school on Friday. We got on a 5:30 flight. We were supposed to get there at 7 because you pick up an hour, which was really 8. It's a 2.5-hour flight. And we got in at literally like 1 in the morning Texas time, which is 2 in the morning Miami time. So it was like 9 hours because we got into those storms. Oh my God. And I was having a heart attack because we circled over Louisiana for like an hour and a half. And then the pilot came on and said, oh, we're going to head towards Dallas now. And, the traffic's backed up. Weather and blah, blah. So now I'm just like having a heart attack. And then RJ's over there on his computer like, everything's great. This is great. I get my computer to myself and nobody's bugging me. Then we go towards Dallas and they go, oh, they're so backed up you can't land. They want us to circle, but we're out of gas. So we have to go to Houston to get some gas. So then we go to Houston and we land there. And I was ready to get off the plane, but they weren't letting anybody get off the plane. So now we go to Houston, we sit there, we wait an hour and a half, we get the gas. Then we go back to Dallas. And then you could tell the plane was zigzagging, trying to find an opening between the weather and the air traffic to land. I'm telling you, I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack and die. It was terrifying to me. Then we land, of course. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. In bumpy weather with lightning outside and it's raining. And then we get on the ground. And I'm just shaking by now. And it's 1:30 or 1 o'clock or whatever in Texas time, 12:30 I think it was. So it would be like 1:30 here. I call an Uber driver. The Uber driver, I got the deluxe car because it was raining really bad and I didn't want to get in a little car. The guy comes in a regular sized car and drives like a damn lunatic. He was going so fast in the freeway in the storm. I'm like, you've got to slow down. He goes, oh no, I'm good. No, you got to slow down. So he slows down. And we go to the hotel, then we get to the hotel, and then of course RJ, spoiled RJ, Mom, is this where we're staying? I'm like, we're lucky to have any room at all. Every hotel in Dallas was booked. So we go to this little nice, cute, sweet, clean hotel, which was fine. Of course, the key didn't work to get in the door. They don't have any water in the room. The water in the shower was very weak. I mean, we were just like, I can't anymore. So the next morning I get up really early and call an Uber to go to Waco, Texas for $270, our car service or whatever Jason set up. And we drive there. It is so bad, you can't see. I mean, there's fog everywhere. It's drizzly, rainy. And then it started to clear up and I was like, oh my God, thank God, thank God. And then I watched the weather all weekend long to see how bad it was going to be in Dallas flying back. And I couldn't relax, so I was so nervous and stressed out. So when I saw that it was going to be like cloudy, I'm like, oh, thank God. And when we started driving back, it wasn't cloudy. It was like clouds where you can't see and drizzle where you can't see. The visibility was like 1 foot.
Like fog.
All the way back, a fog. And then we get there to the airport and I couldn't believe it. I was like, all the time I kept saying, the weather's going to clear, the weather's going to clear, the weather's going to clear. I kept putting it out there. We get into the airport, crystal clear weather. I was like, oh my God. And then we go get in line and we get our boarding pass. I had to get in line to get my boarding pass because they won't pre-board the dog. And all 4 pounds of him. And then it goes out of the international terminal. I'm like, my luck is changing because the international terminal is like 10 times nicer. They got all these fabulous restaurants and bars and shopping. So we find a Wolfgang Puck restaurant. And Roy Jr.'s like, Mom, I love Wolfgang Puck. He orders the pasta. I was like, oh, I'm glad. The big fabulous salmon salad is like after being in Waco, Texas, eating all that fattening, heavy, greasy, sugary food. It was like a refreshing. Then my luck changed. It was a 777. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm on a 777 in good weather at a nice restaurant. I was like, oh, I can't believe I survived the weekend. So that was my travel part of it. And then, of course, while I was in Waco, Texas, the only fabulous thing they had going on for the whole weekend was the Titanic Museum. All the artifacts and pieces lost on the Titanic, I guess they travel around to museums. They had it right there near Baylor University in Waco. I was shocked. So I was like, oh my God, I want to go see the Titanic Museum. So Saturday we go over there to see it. Guess what? This is the mentality of stupid. They closed it because there was a football game going on at the same time. Are you crazy? I'm like, you're kidding me. I would have had a sign out. If you have a football ticket, you can come in half price. And I would have put 10,000 people through the damn thing. They closed it. So the next day, I'm like, oh, maybe we can go Sunday. They open at 1. What time did I have to leave to go to the airport? 1. So we didn't get to see that. And then my mother goes, well, you can go to the Dr. Pepper Museum. I'm like, the Dr. Pepper Museum? What are you talking about? And then my nephew's going, well, RJ, you need to go to Baylor. You need to just go to Baylor. Come to Baylor and stay here with us and the family and everything. I'm like, he's not going to Baylor. And then I'm like, is there anything I couldn't even believe it. It's like, how could they close the museum? They've only got it for 4 months. They've got it until January 6th. And they close it for a football game. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know about
the South?
Okay, well, let's just call it the South.
Well, football's a religion.
I'm sorry. You don't close the museum over it. Well, anyway, so
it was
that
the Titanic.
went on.
Maybe it's sinking.
Yeah, it's basically the Titanic. And then now Roy woke up yesterday with a sore throat. He's got complete laryngitis, can't talk. So last night we were supposed to go to this political fundraiser that we were supposed to host in Wynwood at the Wynwood Wall, which is a gorgeous, fabulous part of Miami, and our friends basically own the whole damn town, and art galleries and everything. So Jason says he'll go meet me there. So we go, and it was for Mary Barzey, who's running against Mario Diaz-Balard's seat, which he's done nothing but take money from the NRA for his entire tenure in the House. So, would you believe there were a lot of Republicans there supporting her? A lot of Republicans are like, look, we're Republicans and we're always going to be Republicans, but Trump is dangerous and we've got to stop him, and we're all going to vote Democrat all the way down the ballot until we get him out of office. Mm-hmm. I was like, finally,
voice of reason.
Finally, voice of reason. Republicans with integrity, stand up, take a stand. So that was interesting, and then we hung out there for a little while, and then now I feel like I'm getting a little scratchy sore throat. If I lose my voice, I mean, the world will just stop. The world will stop. Everybody's been saying...
This podcast will.
The podcast will, but everybody's been saying they want to take a break from everything. Well, if I lose my voice, the break will begin. I'm telling you that. Now, meanwhile, my little friend Sandy sends me my lunch with Leah. This is my iced teacup from Texas. She's from LaVerdia. Sandy's been working with me for, my God, since I was 19 or 20 years old. That's how long. See how all the people I have that work with me, they stay forever. Heidi's been there forever. Jason's been there forever. It's a cult. You don't get to leave. So she sends me this because she knows I love iced tea. And RJ's probably going to want it, but I'm not going to let him have it. And I don't know if he would want it because of the glitter. He might, but the size of it's fantastic. It'll keep your iced tea cold all day long. Now, if anyone's looking for someone to endorse their iced tea or sponsor a show on their iced tea, I'm here.
Listen up, Lipton.
Isn't it fabulous? Anyway, and we're going to have to talk about flipping out later. I watched it last night. I'm going to have to give you a little inside gossip. I can't give you too much. I'll give you a little bit later. And then Kathy Griffin texts me. She's loving the products. She's been using all the skincare all week. She's hooked on them. She goes, oh my God, I love them. I love them. I'm going to post about them. I'm like, go, Kathy, go, Kathy, go. So let's see what you guys questioned me about this week. Ask me anything. Now, I don't read these before because I like to be surprised, because I don't even want to think of the answers, and so they'll just be random answers. Ask me anything questions. Why was RHOM canceled? Oh my God, haven't we talked that to death? I think we've chewed that bone to death. I mean, the answer is I don't know. I don't think it was because of the ratings, because I think the ratings are better than many of the shows on now. So the only thing I can figure is there were 2 girls threatening to sue, and I don't think Bravo liked that. And none of the girls liked each other, and I don't think they liked that. And I guess the fat lady sang, and we left them wanting more. Oh, wait, let's see. Oh, that was from at TREDAYY. At real estate _goddess 305. Is marriage just a piece of paper? Now, why are you asking me this question? What is your context for this? Are you wanting to get divorced? Are you thinking I'm getting divorced? Are you watching too much of RHOC? I mean, I can't answer that question out of context. Yes, it's a piece of paper, and yes, it's a legal thing, and yes, it's a commitment. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love you, Miss Real Estate, but stick to selling real estate. No, I'm kidding. Don't become a marriage counselor. No, I'm kidding. At Natalie Rose McWilliams, what is your favorite hotel in the world? Oh, you know what? I have to tell you, it's really hard to beat the Four Seasons in Palm Beach. It really is. It's fabulous. And then the Peninsula in LA is fabulous. And I don't know. I guess a lot of people love the Beverly Hills Hotel. There are some good ones. At DGant17, do you feel, oh Lord, here we go. My stomach's in my knot already. Do you feel Andy Cohen makes exceptions when physical altercations happen at reunions, like Bethany not being called out when she lunged at Carol, whereas Teresa was warned after she pushed? Well, Bethany never really touched Carol. It was verbal in your face. And Teresa actually did push somebody. So I don't think I think it's a false comparison, you know? But I think Andy has his favorites. I don't think anybody doubts that. I'm not one of them, just going on the record here. At NISHIKARRY, which housewife would make the best politician? Duh. Me. Is there anybody better than me? I don't think so. I know the facts. I know the evidence. I know the laws. I know how the government works. I follow it all. I'm obsessed. Yeah, I'm a fact-based person. So in today's world, I don't know. At RYCONN314, what fall lineup TV shows are you excited about? Oh, well, The Voice. That one with Sean Penn about space is really good. I think it's on, what's it called?
The First.
The First? I don't know. That's not the name of it. It's on Netflix or something?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
On Prime?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really good. It's good. And I started watching that one. And I love Better Call Saul. I mean, that's just a hoot. I'm sorry. It's just too funny. Flipping out. Buckle your seatbelts. Buckle up. Buckle up. I'm going to be on there starting next week, by the way. So, of course, it'll be more interesting. What is my favorite piece of OC jewelry and dress? Oh, you know, I haven't paid that close attention, but I would say Kelly Dodd's worn some of my costume jewelry, so I'd have to say that. And the dresses, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Probably something not hookerish. I just don't like it when these 40, 50, 60-year-old women dress like they're 18. That bugs me. Even when you're 18, I think there's a time and place for everything. A nightclub, maybe. A pool, maybe. But just running around in life, I mean, don't put everything on a silver platter for everyone to see. That was at Omar_BFMP. At Amalone. Whom do you foresee as a good Democratic candidate? Oh, for POTUS, I don't know. There are some good ones. Now, Michael Avenatti says he may run, and a lot of people criticize him, but let me tell you what, he always delivers. He just broke another story. He's got a woman with corroborating evidence, a lot of corroborating witnesses that say that they did sex and gangbanging and drinking and all that was prevalent throughout the whole school that what's-his-name went to. So, and he's delivered on Stormy Daniels. So I think he's a fighter. I think he'd be great majority whip or a great, chief of staff. I would love to see Biden run. I know that he's older, but I also think the world and the country needs stability, wisdom, integrity, character, normalcy, and just to calm down and chill out and let us take a little bit of a break and get things back to normal. Scott said to me the other day, the next president, Republican or Democrat, they're going to spend their entire tenure or administration cleaning up the mess Trump's left, and that's true. Did you see the UN? We'll talk about that later. At David, D-A-V-E-D-I-G, is most of your jewelry costume, or are you that fabulous and rich? Well, honey, it's both. Now, this is Piranesi, real. This is real. This is Van Cleef, real. This is Madeline Stowe, real. This is Tiffany, real. This is Bulgari, real. So today we're all reeled up. Now back here where you see my bitch necklace, that's costume. These are vintage costume, one of a kind. All of this is costume. So, yeah, I guess I'm that rich. But I like my costume jewelry just as much. I love it. Bigger, more fabulous. I love, 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 love. Okay. Oh, at FEODAXY, when did you lose your virginity? Oh my God, are we serious? Well, I can tell you it was definitely after I graduated high school. That's all I can remember.
That's probably central.
And that was so many damn years ago. How would I remember that? Okay. At Holtz, HOLTZHEUSER. I met you briefly at HSUS Gala in LA years ago. Are you still active in dog rescue? Well, I'm active in that I have helped find some homes for dogs that needed to be rescued, and I've rescued several dogs. 2 of my 4 are rescues, and I've had rescues before, but I'm not active like I'm not out holding fundraisers, but if I see a lost dog, I'll put the sign, or I see a sign, I'll tweet about it, I'll call, I'll pick the dog. I'm active that way. I do my part, but it's not like my mission in life right now, because I think the climate's falling apart, the world is falling apart, democracy is falling apart. I can only do so much, but I'm a big dog lover, for sure. And I'm never going to let a dog suffer around me. Never.
And you were in the documentary this
Oh, I
year.
did do that documentary. What was it called? Something Animals.
It was for the animals.
Nocturnal Animals.
Yes.
And I was in this documentary, and I will tell you, that mayor of Miami, Carlos, he needs
Political
to be bitch
animals.
slapped.
That's what
Political animals. He shut down that whole thing where Dade County had the opportunity and the support to put the money into spade and neutering instead of rescuing, and it would have solved the whole problem and been a lot cheaper. And then the politicians got involved and it fell apart. I'm sorry.
The people even voted on it. It was a tax increase.
It was a 1 cent tax increase or something.
Nothing.
And everyone agreed to it. And then they got involved and they turned it into a political thing. Well, we're not going to let anybody raise your taxes and all that. But, I can't with these people. I just can't. Just don't vote for any Republicans ever again, because they're just, all they do is play to the base. That's all they do. They allow 30% of Americans, that base deplorable group that either cares about only their personal taxes, or racist, or don't want immigration, or they don't want anyone to make a decision to have an abortion so that they can go sneak around and drive them and have them anyway. That's the 30% that everyone caters to. I don't get it. It's over. The party is over. The blue wave is coming. It's going to be a tsunami. Celebrity news. Perez Hilton says that the talk is considering or is interested in Rosie O'Donnell. I think she'd be fantastic.
Oh, she was great.
But I don't know if she would do it. You know, Rosie likes her freedom, so I don't know if she would do it. Dirty Pop Radio with Lance Bass. Remember how many times I was on that show or co-hosted it? It's moving to iHeartRadio. Translation, they must be back in LA again. And it's too bad, because I was planning on buying all that radio equipment they had in their house when I got my show. An artist, some really creative artists. You know, Trump's star on the Walk of Fame, they dug it all up and ruined it, so they put it back together, Humpty Dumpty, literally. And so some creative artists now, not to damage it, just made bars. Prison bars.
They built a wall around it.
Yeah, should have built a wall, but yeah, they put prison bars around it. Oh, shout out celebrity Kelly Dodd, happy birthday. Now, what sign is it right now? If you're, what sign would you be? Are you Virgo? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the sign is right now. This is September. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. What was that?
You've got a lot of comments coming in.
Okay, let's hear it.
So Margaret Skilloff, who is here every week joining us, she said good for those Republicans that you were talking about earlier that are voting the right way.
That's right.
She also recommends the Ricolai dual action cough drops.
Oh, I know which one. I see those. They are good. I'm going to get them because I'm telling you, I feel it coming on.
Bill and Jill Zachary said the boss just walked past my computer and gave you a whistle.
Wow,
made
honey,
his day.
I have a way with men.
Julie Gofarb said, would you do the Housewives of Miami with different housewives?
Oh, that's a better question than would I do it.
She also agrees that the Four Seasons is the best hotel all over the world. And Sandy's giving you love today.
Hi, Sandy.
And Susan Cylinder, who actually purchased some of your jewelry recently.
Susan,
she said she loves your costume jewelry.
I love it. I'm telling you, it's a huge bang for the buck. I mean, you can, for $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, I mean, you can buy a real stunner.
And Margaret says it's Libra, maybe.
Oh, is it Libra? Maybe. Okay, I don't know very many Libras, so I don't know that much about them. Well, we know if Kelly Dodd is any example, we know what you expect if you're a Libra. Michael Jordan donated $2 million to Hurricane Florence relief and recovery. He's originally from Wilmington, North Carolina, so I thought that was amazing. Meanwhile, Colin Kaepernick's endorsement of Nike ran their stock up $6 billion.
Yep.
Good for them. Take a knee. They know their marketing. Take a knee.
Yes.
And Cher is going to be honored at the Kennedy Center Honors, and she's glad that Trump will not be there, wishes Obama would. According to People magazine, Bradley Cooper says he made a friend for life with Lady Gaga after filming A Star is Born. It's his first time directing. He's 43 years old. He said that he was uncomfortable singing for her, but she made him feel so comfortable he belted out. They had chemistry from the very beginning. She's a beautiful human being. And you know what? I've heard nothing but great things about her as a human being, and I've kind of followed her career, and I really do admire her. And remember, Chris Christopherson and Barbra Streisand did the original one. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
I love the original, but I've heard such good reviews about the new one.
You have?
And Howard Stern today playing the first track from the soundtrack, and he can sing. Who knew?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
they're saying he could sing very well. I'm going to go see it this weekend.
I'm going to see it too. And you know, Barry called me and said, "Oh, I have a ticket if you want to come to. I have 2 tickets extra if you want to come to the premiere of The Star is Born." And I said, of course, I'm not flying out there just to go to a premiere. But my other friend went, that he invited, and I didn't talk to him. I don't know how it went, but I'm sure it was fabulous. Bill Cosby, 81 years old, sentenced to 3 to 10 years, and I found out what that means. That means that after 3 years, he will go before the parole board and plead his case as to why he should be able to get out. And they took him straight into prison, which was a shock to everyone. I think everyone thought he would be able to voluntarily surrender, but I think this judge had just had enough. And a psychologist who wrote an article saying that he was a predator and he's had uncontrollable urges. And he was facing up to 30 years, but 3 to 10 years for someone 81 years old in prison, that's a very long time. And so there you have it. I don't know. They said he needed to be in jail for public safety. And what he would do is he would befriend women, drug them, and then violate them. And so I guess the first of the Me Too movement went to trial and was convicted. Harvey better be nervous. You know, Angie, what was her name? Janice Dickinson, she says she's the first supermodel, but there were really another one before. But anyway, she testified. She's a friend of ours. She testified. So I was going to text her, and I lost her damn number. I was going to say, well, I guess you're happy. Anyway, I'll get hold of her. Tiger Woods won the PGA Tour for the first time in 5 years. I mean, you know what? Everyone was just jumping for joy, and I really could care less. I just could care less. But happy, good for him, whatever. He's a cheater, cheated on his wife, but he won again, so good. Everybody deserves a comeback and a second chance. Of course, he's into triple digits now with chances, but good for him, he won. TMZ reported that Justin Bieber serrated Haley Baldwin in Paris. He was sitting there playing his guitar next to a water fountain in Paris in a public square, and a crowd gathers around, and he's serenading Haley and saying, "This is the love of my life." Isn't that cute? Now, apparently they're not yet married. They are engaged, and they got lawyers hammering out a prenup. He makes a lot of money. One year he made $50 million that I know of. I don't know how the other years, but anyway. And in devastating news, Michael Kors bought Versace. And there was a big ad that came out and said, Versace's been murdered twice.
That was me.
And that was James.
I ran the ad.
Did you run the ad? Did you really?
I said I didn't know you could kill a person twice.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know why they didn't sell it to LVMH or, Tiffany or one of these brands, that are consistent with the high-end brand. Michael Kors bought Jimmy Choo a couple of years ago, and now you see Jimmy Choo like in all these little like outlets and everything.
TJ Maxx and Ross, they all have accessories and things like that
and
now.
I remember when you could, I mean, I bought some shoes that were crocodile for $3,000 a pair back when I was crazy younger, and the Jimmy Choo. And of course I got pregnant with RJ and my foot grew and I had to outgrow them and give them away. But yeah, they were a big high-end brand, and crocodile shoes last a lifetime, so that's not something I would do normally. But if you have a pair in black and a pair of brown, and that's all you really need if you work with a suit. But that's going to be interesting to see. I'm wondering if all of our Versace pieces, like all my carpets and my pillows and I have a couple of little handbags, my scarves, I'm wondering if the original Versace that was done by either Gianni or then Donatella is going to now become collectible or maintain its value or go up in value, or if that they bring it to the masses and it diminishes the name, if it's going to be worthless. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I know that a lot of the original Gianni Versace silk shirts that they have brought back for the tribute are still higher priced on eBay used from the original line by almost $1,000 than they are brand new in the store right now.
Do you believe I gave Paul about a dozen of those Versace shirts, the driver? I don't even think he knew what Versace was. I wish I'd have kept them.
I looked at one of the same print that I was showing you the dog bed was made out of. They had a silk shirt like that, and it was like $16.50, I think, at the store. And then on eBay, there's one that's the original one from Gianni back in like 94 or 95. And they want $2,400,
well, they
I think,
used to
for
be
that one.
like back when I bought them, like $300 or $500. And I had a bunch I had bought Roy, and of course he wouldn't wear them that much. They're a little loud for him. So one day I was going out the closet, I gave them all to the driver. Just shoot me. But that Versace little dog thing that James sends me yesterday, he sends me a picture of a little dog bed. It's about the same size as this little black one. It's what, 20 inches by 16 inches or something, with little pillows and fluffed up. $1,400 with Versace fabric on it. And he says, little black needs this. I'm like, you know, you go find some Versace fabric and I'll go down and have the one he has fabric. But today's not coming. That dog's going to be in a $1,400 bed. And then James goes, well, he pees on a $10,000 carpet.
He pees on the Versace
Actually,
rugs.
those Versace carpets are probably worth
they're
about
more
$50,000.
than they're about 50. That's why I said he's got.
And I've got 1, 2 here, 3 here. I've got 1 in LA, 4, and I have 1 or 2 at home. So I've got a lot of them. They're fabulous. In housewife news, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh my God, the gossip is going and going. So People.com reported. Remember Lisa Rinna? She put the whole thing on. She went on her little Instagram video thing, and she went out and said, oh, there's one of them that won't film with us. I don't know what the story is. We're all locked in sequestration, and they're trying to get her to film, to take the photo with us, the cast photo. And then they all, one by one, came out and said it wasn't them, except Lisa Vanderpump didn't come out and say it wasn't her. So it turns out it was Vanderpump, and it turns out that they had a falling out. Now, I had a little bird that I know that gave me a little of the inside gossip, which I probably shouldn't tell because, you know, Bravo doesn't like that. But it'll probably, allegedly, it'll probably all play out on the season. But apparently she and Dorette went at it a little bit, but then they made amends because Dorette had gotten a dog from Vanderpump Pet Care Clinic or whatever, rescue center, and the dog had bit the kid and she had to take it back. And then someone else got it and the dog bit another kid, so they take it to another, I think, kill shelter, but I'm not sure about that part of it. But it wasn't Lisa Vanderpump's fault, nor was it Dorette's fault, and they kissed and made up. But then, somehow, apparently, Lisa was stirring the pot, and she mentioned something to Teddy, and Teddy brought it up. And then when it all exploded, Teddy felt like she had been set up and that Lisa was using her to stir the pot and to set the whole thing and the big fight up. Well, listen, you got to say what you want, but Vanderpump does know how to drive up those ratings. I mean, they need some excitement. Who knows?
Teddy can never ever win.
And that poor Teddy, I know, she's just a sweet, simple girl, and she just keeps getting, it's like quicksand. She just steps in it and they just suck her down and she has to pull herself out, you know? And then someone will throw her a life raft, you know? And then Erica Jane was saying that, that Lisa Vanderpump was acting like a diva, and that the way she put it, she said, it's an ensemble cast, meaning, no one's better than anyone else, and blah, blah, blah. So let's see listen, they got some excitement going this year, so maybe it'll be fun. In Real Housewives of Orange County gossip, the gossip on the street was that Tamara was selling her house, I think it's for $1.799, newly renovated, to pay for Eddie's medical bills. Now, if she were, and if she is, God bless her, good for them, they've got their priorities in order. However, she came out and posted something and said people are going to be very surprised when she finds out why that she really sold her house. So I doubt that's why, and I hope he has good insurance, but with Trump around, nobody has good anything.
No. I think she's already bought another house.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she found a house she liked better. Who knows? And then I like that little Gina. I just adore her. And I feel sorry for her because she's going through this divorce and it's like it hasn't hit her yet. And she doesn't really, I don't think she understands what divorce really means. She thinks nothing's really going to change.
Right.
And she's kind of naive about it. But then one of the girls made a point. They said, well, somebody's having an affair here. There's more to the story. Well, there's always more to the story. That's one of my pillows I'm had. Always more to the story. But in any event, what I think is, if anyone is having an affair, she's protecting her children and maybe her pride, and doesn't want to be embarrassed and doesn't want the kids to be exposed. If anyone is. But who knows why they're really getting divorced? They've been together a long time. I love that she defended her husband. She said he wasn't going to, under any circumstance, they wouldn't be fighting over money, and everyone was sat around the table, and all these women that had been through divorce after divorce after divorce roll their eyes like, oh yeah, there's not going to be any money dispute here. Not until he gets a girlfriend and starts spending all of his money on her anyway. But anyway, I wish her well. And then Kelly was on Watch What Happens Live the other night. She looked her fabulous self. I just loved her on there. And I think it's hilarious that both Tamara and Shannon are running around, both of them, with cast on their legs. I mean, is it contagious that you sprain your ankle or break your foot? I mean, it's terrible.
You've got comments coming in. Lots of people think that the Versace will the stuff current will retain its value. And there was one comment from Margaret that says, I think it was Margaret that said, it was Susan. She said, did we not learn anything from Halston and JCPenney?
I know.
That's a good
another example. Halston was like a big, huge brand, and now it's like for the masses. I don't have a masses and have the super rich couture for the classes line because that's the brand they spend their whole life building. I wonder how Gianni would feel about her selling it to Michael Kors. I don't know. Real Housewives of New York, Carol tweeted out, oh my God, according to Jezebel, Carol tweeted out, LOL, I stand by hashtag FOS. What is that? FOS, hashtag FOS.
Friends of...
I don't know. Friends of the show? I don't know. Yeah. Carol tweeted out, according to Jezebel, LOL, I stand by hashtag FOS, which I don't know what that is. Trumpian is what Andy did, and she tagged at Andy. He created a false equivalent. He said that both she and Bethany bashed each other all season. She says, look at the clips. I was in the same outfit, a black top, because it was all of my criticism of Bethany, basically, was at the last episode in the last interviews that were taped 2 weeks before the reunion. So what she's saying is that she held it all in, didn't bash Bethany, tried to get along, tried to keep it together, and then in the very end she had enough and spoke her piece. And that Andy was making it look like they bashed each other all season and it was a false equivalent. Well, you know what? I got to give the girl credit. First of all, I kind of think there may be some truth to that now that I think back on it. But secondly, she and Andy must be feuding a little bit because she called him out on it, if it's true. I don't know. I kind of think maybe when you look back, Bethany did criticize her a lot more, and she was trying to make it work. I'd have to watch it again. I don't know. There's a new girl on.
I've always been Team Carol.
You've always a lot of people are Team Carol.
Yeah.
Carol was the same kind of normal amongst the girls, and I think she'll be missed. On the other hand, they brought in another girl. I forget her name, but She's the one that was originally, when they did the scene and they were at a party, and she said behind the scenes, and the mic caught it, that Luann was getting married just because she didn't want to go through the humiliation of calling off the divorce. And then apparently she threatened to sue Bravo for putting it in. I guess they made peace. So I don't know if you can now threaten to sue Bravo and still get along, or if they said, well, you know, don't sue us, we'll let you be on the show, or if that was all a rumor and a lie. I don't know. Maybe she'll be fantastic on this show. Who knows? As long as she can talk 100 miles an hour, she'll do good, just fine, because you have to get in. I don't know how these girls keep up over there. I really don't. You get lost in the fray over there real easy.
Yeah, Barbara is like a friend of Luann, the new one. Yeah.
Okay, so according to that was the same one. Yeah. Now, last night marked the premiere of Jerry O'Connell's new Manly Bravo talk show, formerly known as Real Men Watch Bravo, currently known as Play by Play. Yes. Well, apparently, I don't know, but, well, by the way, here this one says, after Andy accused her of bashing co-star Bethany, Bradswell says, you're so full of shit, Andy, and the world, or at least part of the world, is also obsessed with it, and they gasp. Well, anyway, the point is that this show, this play-by-play show, I think it got a lot of criticism, didn't it?
Yes.
I think it got a lot of criticism, but I don't think you can judge a show by the first time out. Maybe it's going to be really, really good. But I saw people tweeting and commenting that they should have Watch What Crappens guys on there, Ronnie and Ben. And I think Ronnie and Ben should have their own show, not necessarily take over that show or kick these two guys out or four guys out. But they really, they don't just watch the shows, they're obsessed with the shows. They know every word. They can recite it back in chronological order in every script that's ever went down in every show. They would be fantastic on a show. But let's see how that show goes.
People wanted Michael, they do well. They wanted Michael Rapaport, who is a huge Housewife fan too. A lot of fans said that he would be good.
He kind of dominates the conversation, though. He'd be better off maybe on his own or with one other person. Kind of for as an ensemble cast, as Erica says.
You know, my buddy Michael Yo in that.
Yeah, RHOA Atlanta. Apparently, Porsha Williams is 6 months pregnant, and she, after suffering a miscarriage, it was rumored. I don't know if that's true. Allegedly, but they're saying that she was getting $1 million for the season. See, I don't believe any of that. They all lie about what they're making. I'm sorry. Show me your IRS stub and I'll believe you. They all exaggerate. Like when Nene said she's making $2 million. Does anybody, that's just not, I just know. I know too many of them personally and what they make. And I know that you don't go from quantum leap that high no matter how fabulous you are. I mean, even if you're Meryl Streep, you don't go from $1 to $100 million. You know what I mean? So I don't think she's getting that, but she's probably getting good money and good for her. I always felt like that Kenya should have stayed on the show. I think Kenya was fantastic on the show. But anyway.
She has her own show on E! now.
Kenya?
Kenya, yeah.
Doing what?
They gave her a show, her and her husband.
Is her husband going to be on it?
I think so.
Oh my God! Well, that's a little. Now, see, I don't like that. You won't go on the Housewives, but you'll go do your own show. I don't know if I like that. On the other hand, maybe he just didn't want to get in the gutter with some of these girls. You know?
Yeah. I read something this week about it that they're working like pre-production on it or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that Kim Zolciak's show, Tardy the Party's not coming back, but I don't know that that's true either, but I heard that from an inside whistleblower. So if it's not coming back, I mean, what are they going to do for money? He's not playing football anymore, and they spend money like drunken sailors. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, I don't know. And I don't know if Mom and Dad had any money, but if they do, Mom's not going to give her any after all the way she treated her. And I always liked them, so I'm wishing them well, too. And then Flipping Out was on last night, and, of course, the New York episode was really good. The little girl looked so cute. It was snowing in New York. It was Christmas time. They flew there on a private plane. It was a great show. I love those two guys. I call them Dumb and Dumber, but I don't really remember their names. But they were in the background supervising the two houses in L.A. One of them came in from Vegas that Jeff offered a job to, and the other one, and they fight all the time, and they've got that New York crazy Jersey accent. I mean, I think they're hilarious. I mean, I'm not saying they're good job supervisors, but they're fucking hilarious to watch. I had to tell Jeff, you got to keep them on the payroll just so we can laugh at them. Oh, someone asked me earlier about the Sean Penn movie is called Space. And then also Anthony Bourdain's last episodes are on. Oh, that's sad. That is so sad. And I'm sick of that little girlfriend of his. She needs to keep her mouth shut and just go away. She got hopped on that Me Too movement, and then it turns out she had a Me Too moment herself, and now she's saying what Anthony Bourdain did and said and thought. You don't get to do that to someone when they're not alive anymore.
No.
I agree, and I watched that episode the other night, the first one of his last season.
Yeah.
It was so moving.
I know.
So emotional.
I know. It's sad. I know. And I just think when someone dies, you don't get to say what they were doing or saying or thinking, unless it's something positive and you want to make them look really good. That's one thing. But they aren't there to defend themselves, you know? And then Dancing with the Stars is on. I don't watch that anymore. And I never really watched it that much. And Better Call Saul is on. And then don't forget the Tom Arnold on Viceland. I think it's Tuesday nights at 10:30. It's called Hunting for Trump's tapes about Trump using the N-word. Tapes, yeah. And let me tell you, it's supposedly hilarious. It was on last night. I caught glimpses of it, but I'm going to watch it. Oh, in regular news, now that we're done with gossip, celebrities, and housewives, now that the real news is over, let's go to the fake news now. $18 million in cocaine showed up amidst bananas given in prison. So this company says them, okay, so in Puerto Ranzas, I think it was, or in Freeport, they ship $18 million worth of cocaine mixed in with bananas to a prison. So when they're picking up the pallets, they think, wow, this is really heavy for bananas. So they're so stupid, they don't even realize this is really heavy for bananas. And it turns out they uncovered $18 million in cocaine. So what were they doing? I guess they figure if you want distribution for cocaine, go to where people know how to distribute it live. Where would that be? The prisons. So they sought out all the criminals in Texas to go sell their cocaine. I don't know why they would do it. I don't know. I mean, how are they going to get the money? How are they going to get... Well, you know, those criminals, they're really good at being creative. They figure a way to sell it and get the money out. But then I guess they were going to get it out, and then who was the money going to get, and this and that. I mean, I think it's just hilarious. I mean, people are so creative, they're just stupid. And an inspirational story, an Indonesian teenager was the guy that worked as a lamp keeper on a raft. And he was like the only one that worked on the raft. And the wind or storm or whatever, it broke loose from the dock. And he was swept out to sea for 49 days. And he lived amongst strong winds, and he lived off of fish, and he used some of the wood on the side to make fire to cook the fish. And he was 78 miles out in the ocean. With the currents, there was no way to steer himself back, and he prayed every day, and he said to himself, I'm never going to see my parents again, so he prayed every day. And after he ran out of food after 1 week, so then he had to fish for his food, and he had to drink. What he did is the salt water that was saturating his clothes, he sucked it out of his clothes to try to not have the salt and get a little bit of the water, and that's how he survived. Can you believe it? At 17 years old, I thought about, my God, if that was my little boy out on that raft for 49 days, 17 years old. But anyway, he survived. Well, and good news, Hermes Himalayan Croc. And you believe I used to have one of those without the diamonds, and I took it back because I thought it was so fragile. If anybody got anything on it, it would ruin it. I've kicked myself ever since. Apparently, it's either going or went at auction for $500,000. What? 30% over the asking. It broke the record of $298,000 for the same bag that was purchased in Vegas for $250 in 2013. That went for $298 in 2016, and now it's going for $500,000. And all the clasps were done in diamonds. Hello. I mean, really, I would never invest that much money in a bag. I'd be too nervous to ever get it out. People invested in artwork and think nothing about it, or jewelry, so I guess. According to CBS News, this is hilarious too. People are just crazy and hilarious and creative. This restaurant in Maine sedated their lobsters with marijuana. So it's called Charlotte's Legendary Lobster Pound in South Harbor, and it's open, and it's called smoked lobster meat. And as of now, the regulators haven't asked them to hop the cells. So, I've heard of people putting wine in the lobsters so that they die peacefully. See, I can't eat lobster because of those kind of stories. And now they're putting marijuana in there so that the lobsters, I guess, die happy, and then the meat's more tender. And they're calling it, what are they calling it? I mean, it's just hilarious. What was it called? Let's see. Smoked lobster meat. Literally smoked. Smoking lobsters. Oh, my God. In trivia, what do you think the number one Halloween candy in the state of Florida is? That people buy the most of and hand out the most? Take a guess.
Ranchers?
What?
Jolly Ranchers?
Jolly Ranchers? I don't know that one.
Jolly Ranchers?
I would say candy corn, but I don't know.
Candy corn? Nope. Mm-mm. Number 3 is Reese's Cups. Number 2 is Skittles, which was one last year, and Snickers. There you go. Who knew?
I like Skittles.
You like Skittles? I like the Reese's.
Yeah, I'm a Reese's person if
now,
I'm going to eat it.
remember a while back, we all laughed till we cried when the Brickell Center opened on Brickell and they spelled the name wrong?
Yes.
I mean, come on. They spelled the name wrong. Brickel or something.
Nope.
How'd they spell it?
You spelled it wrong. Brickel.
Is that how they spelled it?
But they left one L off.
They left one of the L's off. Okay, so they spelled it wrong, and we all were howling because they invested hundreds of millions of dollars in this big shopping center on Brickell Avenue, and they spelled Brickell wrong, and we were like, only in a third world country like Miami would that happen. So guess what? Cathay Pacific spelled their name wrong on both sides of a huge plane. They put Cathay, Paciic. They left the F out.
I saw that. I saw where they had misspelled that on the side.
What is wrong with people? How do you make those kind of mistakes? Oh my God. Oh Lord.
Someone not taking pride in their job, paying attention.
I don't know. I mean, or just maybe it was a language barrier. I don't know. Anyway, now I think this is going to the extreme. Here's another crazy thing that's going to the extreme. I'm sorry. I'm going to offend some people, but I always do. Some churches are now offering gluten-free communion bread. Oh. How big is that piece of communion bread? It's paper thin. It's the size of a nickel. And you're going to tell me? Come on. Oh, my God. So I have a line over here for the gluten-free communioners, and then I have a line over here for the non-gluten-free communioners. And if you like Nutella kids, you can go get in the third line over there where we have, some, what do you call Disney handing out the candies. Oh, my God. It's just too much. And why is this news? Beginning in December, American Airlines is going to provide hummus on domestic flights over 3 hours. Why is that news? Mm-hmm. What about that is newsworthy? It made the news. Well, I'm going to make some news. You can go to leahblack.com and buy the best skincare of your life. Now that's real news. Let's take a 5-second break. Oh, gosh. Let's see. Here's another one. This guy in Soho named Soho Sam, Jaradeh, spent $140,000 customizing a master bathroom with solid gold-plated tubs. It must have been $1.4 million. I don't know. And floors and gold ceilings and glass mosaics. So now he wants to sell the apartment, and everyone that's been in it says they would gut it and take all that out. So you have to be careful how you spend your money. Jeff he would break out in hives if you walk into something like that. He likes everything lean and neutral and calm and simple. Imagine he walks into gold-plated ceilings and gold-plated toilets and gold-plated tubs and, oh, no.
I agree with Jay.
I do too. That's a little much. Well, Trump would love that gold toilet. 59% of people remain Facebook friends with their exes after they break up. That's what the survey says. Do you agree with that?
I would say they're probably stalking.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're seeing what they're doing.
I call them lurkers.
Lurkers. Oh, God. Well, my quote of the week, which I'm going to give you before I get into my political rants, First, you got to share the show. Hit share, S-H-A-R-E, share the show. Podcast, Acast, podcast. Oh, do we have any more sponsors other than macaroni and cheese? I love macaroni and cheese. We should have an iced tea sponsor for our Texas-sized iced tea cup.
Listen up, Lipton.
Les, listen up. My quote of the week. See, I always come up with all these quotes. I don't know why. I've always done it all my life. I have like books of them that I just make up stuff and write it down. Giving back is something I think all of us should do. There are all types of giving back. Money, time, awareness. It is a state of mind and a conscious choice. And I agree with that. And we should all give back. Yes. Now, let's talk a little trash. Let's talk about politics. I got to tell you, this really is the funniest thing. I mean, I don't know whether to laugh, cry, cringe, or hide under the covers. Trump going in front of the United Nations, thinking he's having a rally amongst those 30% of deplorables that are ignorant, and starts bragging about he's accomplished more than any other president in history in his first 2 years, and they burst out laughing. And then I found out later the first group of laughs were people that spoke English, so they laughed right away. But then when it translated in the earphones came the huge wave of laugh because it got translated. And so now he's saying, oh no, I meant to make them laugh. He can never fucking ever just admit to anything that he did wrong. I mean, really? Oh,
he was
my
seething.
God. And then, you know, that he was what? Oh, seething?
He was seething.
Oh, yeah, of course he was. He's a joke. Today I saw him on there calling a meeting to order, putting his gavel down. He's reading the script somebody wrote him, and everyone's like, you don't know anything about anything you're talking about. They're just laughing. And yesterday when he was talking about Germany in that speech, they shot over to the table of like 6 German people, ambassadors and leaders and diplomats or whatever. And they were all sitting there trying not to burst out laughing, rolling their eyes, looking at each other like he is crazy. And now he's got a new enemy. You know, he had Kim Rocket Man. Now he's not an enemy anymore. Can't make Putin an enemy. That's his boss. So his new enemy is Iran. So he starts this morning, well, I got rid of that horrible Iranian agreement that they had. And now because I got rid of the agreement that said they can't make nuclear arsenal, they can't make nuclear arsenal now because I got rid of the agreement that said they can't. I mean, he's just so crazy. I just too much. I can't anymore.
And they were pointing out, too, like how there's always a Trump tweet for everything. If you go back during the Obama administration, he lashed out at Obama for standing up in front of the United Nations doing the, you know, exact same thing.
He tweeted out that Obama was making the United States a laughingstock. Yes. We need strong leaders now. Yeah. All explanation points and all that. So now they put this whole tweet out. They showed the tweet he wrote when Obama was there. I replied back and I said, I never recall a time when anyone at the United Nations ever laughed at Obama or any other president of the United States. This is a first. You were a laughingstock. I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, it's just so funny. I don't understand it. You know,
remember when there used to be a saying called "The world is laughing at you"? Now it really is.
They really are laughing at them. You know, I just can't with these people. And then this Jason Miller, they're all just a bunch of hypocrites. He's that guy that got the girl pregnant, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was him that got the girl pregnant. The also Republican operative got her pregnant. Now she lives in Florida with her kid, and he was married, and so he got one woman pregnant. He was a Trump staffer, and he now goes out on television and talks about, defends Trump all the time in the GOP. He apparently gave a poisoned, what are those pills called? They cause you to have an abortion. He gave it to an ex-girlfriend against her will. She didn't know he gave it to her, so it was an abortion pill.
Like the Plan B.
Yeah. So he screws the girl and then gives her an abortion pill without her knowledge. These people are just hypocrites. I've never seen anything like it. They don't agree with birth control. They don't want Planned Parenthood to educate people on birth control, and they don't want birth control paid for. But then if you're raped, you have to have the kid to full term, but we're not going to take care of it, and in fact, we may just put it in a cage. I mean, I can't anymore. And then Jeannie Perot is a nut job. Remember she came to our charity event one year, and she acted so important because she knew Donald Trump, and I remember thinking, who cares? But anyway, She thinks that the woman, Dr. Ford, that's accusing Kavanaugh of the attempted rape when he was drunk and 17 and in college or high school, she thinks, now listen to this, would you put your credibility on the line? She thinks that the woman may have been hypnotized. And that's why she thinks this guy jumped on her and tried to rape her and put his hand over her mouth so she couldn't talk. These Fox News people, I went over there to get coffee this morning. They had Fox News on. I said, you've got to change this to CNN because I can't shop in here if you've got it on Fox. And that's just the way it is. Like, she's on Fox, one of those fucking, what do you call them, the propagandist conspiracy theorists. And then Time magazine cover has a title that says, All the SARS Men. And it's got Trump with all the dictators circled around him, CZAR, I don't know. Then Willie Nelson is taking some heat for performing live for Beto O'Rourke in Texas. And I don't know, but I hope beyond hope, and I did send in a donation, I hope all of you will too. Beto O'Rourke is ahead 3 points of Ted Cruz right now, and Ted Cruz needs to go away. I mean, he's just nasty, he's dishonest, he's a hypocrite. There's so many things about him. I remember when he had that commercial he ran last year where he had a machine gun and he wrapped bacon around it. Did you see that? And then he shot the gun, and the gun shot like 20 rounds in 1 second, and it fried the bacon. And he pulled the bacon off the gun and ate the gun and said, "Yum," you know. So he's a nut job, and I just can't with him. But anyway, go Willie, go, 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 go. Now, what are we going to do about this one? Another Republican judge, Donald Thompson in Oklahoma, was found guilty on 4 counts of indecent exposure. Listen to this. He's a judge sitting behind his desk with his robe on. He was using a penis pump while presiding over court cases. And he had this penis pump, which gives you an erection, under his robe for apparently he was on the bench for 23 years, and this woman says that worked for him, this I guess a court reporter or assistant or the judge's assistant or whatever, says she saw him expose himself at least 15 times during 2001 and 2003. But back then people would have been afraid to report a judge for something like that. So he used this pump during 4 trials, and he says that no, it was just a joke, somebody gave it to him and he was just cutting up with it. But then they went and did an investigation and they found sperm on his robes, the chair, and the carpet. Oh my and then they pulled up, disgusting. And these are Republican values. And then they pull up an audio tape while he's listening to a trial, and you can hear this swooshing sound in the background. The jurors were asking, what is this swooshing sound in the background? So after all this came out, they went back and listened to it, and the swooshing sound was the penis pump.
Oh my gosh.
This is another Republican. I'm not saying Democrats don't do it, but I'm telling you, if you look at percentages, I mean, the Republicans are just out of control.
Margaret Scaloff says Ted was surrounded by 100 plus women in a restaurant last night. They were screaming at him about Kavanaugh, and Ted was forced to leave.
Yeah, they blocked, well, I didn't agree with how they kind of blocked him and his wife in, but I do agree that they have the right to. He's on the country's payroll. Yeah. Our taxes are paying his salary. They have the right to stand up. But it was a bunch of women that were at some point in time been attacked or harassed or whatever by men, and they were just like, how can you vote for Kavanaugh? And they were calling him out on it. So good for them. I just think they should maybe not do it where they block them in a restaurant, but I think they have the right to say it. I don't know. Then the Virginia School District, thank God, rejected a school bid to arm teachers with guns. Can you believe it? The Department of Criminal Justice turned down Lee County Superintendent's application to register as an armed special conservator, asking school employees to carry guns. And thank God the Department of Criminal Justice turned it down. So the Virginia, their answer is, let's give the NRA more money and let's all buy guns and arm the teachers, and then we can have a shootout in the OK Corrals. Hey, Jimmy, Doc, wow, Betty, get that ponytail down, I'm shooting. I mean, come on, I just can't. I just can't. Now, Kavanaugh apparently now has 3 accusers. The first one, the doctor that says that he put her hand over her mouth, and wouldn't let her scream, turned the music up loud, attempted to take her clothes off, and couldn't rape her because he was too drunk to get it up, basically. Then the second one that says that she was in a dorm at a party and she was sitting down and he came up and put his pants down and thrust his penis in her face and actually touched her face, and that she heard someone down the hall go, Brett Kavanaugh just put his penis in Debbie's face, and everybody started laughing. And now the latest one that Michael Avenatti said was going to come out says that she's got witnesses, several witnesses that will corroborate that they put women in the room and took turns screwing them. They called it train something, and they would do like gang rapes basically. And they get the women really, really drunk, and then they just go in one after the other and screw them. And he says he's got witnesses to prove that. Now the question is, if the Republicans that are trying to shove this guy down everybody's throat are going to let any of this be heard, and apparently not. They're going to give each senator 5 minutes, so they get 50 minutes of testimony, which is nothing, for a judge that they want to put on Supreme Court for the next, quote, probably 50 years to change the lives and dictate the lives of all the young people coming up and growing up in this country. The whole thing's a sham. This guy's a political operative. He worked for Bush. He wrote all the questions to go after Clinton. He thought Clinton should be impeached and indicted, and now he doesn't think the president should even be questioned, subpoenaed, or investigated when they're president because it interferes with their time to run the country. So he's a hypocrite, and that's the only reason that they want him on, on the court. And then when he went on Fox News, he had 4 talking points that he kept going back to. Every time they asked him a question, he'd go back to, I want a fair trial. I didn't do it, you know. And then they ask his wife a question, and the guy basically muzzles her. He didn't put his hand over his mouth like he did with the with the doctor when he was trying to rape her, but he just interrupted, shut her up, and answered the questions for her. He muzzles women. I mean, that's just the way it is. And it was creepy. She's like a Stepford wife. And that guy, Grassley's 85 or 89 years old. What old codger, 85 or 89 years old, gets to railroad through for the entire country who's going to be sitting on the Supreme Court for the next 40, 50 years or however long they can live? And then Roy said that Kavanaugh's yearbook alone should disqualify him. He had all kinds of things about he was going to drink 100 kegs of beer or 10 kegs of beer, whatever it was his first year in college. He put FFFFF July, and they have now gone back and interviewed students that say that meant feel them, F them, forget them, finger them, nasty, nasty stuff. And, you know, and they're still just trying to put him on there. They don't care. They just want to control people's lives, especially women. And I have a feeling this may all backfire, and I hope, and I'm with those Republicans that came last night. I don't care if Republican or not. Nobody has anything against Republicans. If they're normal Republicans, Reagan Republican or George H.W. Bush Republicans, the only thing I didn't like about George Bush was Dick Cheney in the Iraq War, but he was a civilized, decent guy. But this guy's out of control. They've got to reel him in. So Michelle Obama's got a new book out, and she's on the campaign trail and trying to get the vote out. So that should change, maybe get a bunch of women and young women out to vote. And one last little thing, Rudy Giuliani, bless his heart, the senile ex-mayor of New York, crazy loony, he suggests that the U.S. will overthrow the Iranian government. He thinks that sanctions will lead to a war. And by the way, it's been proven time and time again, Iran did not violate the agreement with the United States. So when Trump was sitting there today criticizing Iran at the UN, everyone was looking at him like, are you crazy? Everybody that was part of this agreement is still part of this agreement. America, United States, you're the only ones that pulled out, and you pulled out just because you want to have somebody to fight with and you want to make Obama wrong. This guy was living up to his agreements, and why are you going after them and creating an enemy? You know, so I don't know. I just can't anymore. And then Trump's ex-wife Ivanka did an interview the other day that said that Trump has been addicted to penis enlargement pills for more than 30 years. And you know what? Let's end it there. That explains it all. Explains it all. There you go. That explains it all.
That they don't work.
Yeah, they work. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's looking like a mushroom, according to Stormy, but nobody knows if it really works. Oh, my God, did you guys have fun? Happy. Say hi to Little Black if you're on Facebook Live. You'll miss him on the podcast.
He is completely ignoring us today. He sat there and stared at the back of the chair.
All right, happy week, everybody. I'll see you guys next Wednesday at noon on Facebook Live or on Acast. We need sponsors. I love macaroni and cheese, but I could use an iced tea sponsor for my iced tea bag. I could use a candy sponsor for Halloween. I could use a pet sponsor for Little Black. I'm happy to be your spokesperson. I just love selling stuff. And go to leahblack.com and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Share.